When I first arrived in this country, I didn't come with ambition in my suitcase, I came with questions. Questions about who I was, and whether there was a place for someone like me in a nation that promised freedom, but too often practiced exclusion. My parents came to New York from Uganda, carrying the weight of displacement and the hope of opportunity. They built their lives from scratch, no family connections, no safety net, just faith and endurance. As a child, I watched them navigate systems that weren't made for people like us. My mother translated letters for neighbors who couldn't read English. My father drove a cab through the cold streets of Queens, saving every dollar so that his children could study and dream. We were taught that America was a place where hard work could build a better future, but as I grew older I realized something: hard work alone doesn't guarantee dignity. I saw families like ours pushed out by rising rents. I saw friends drop out of school to support their parents. I saw neighbors forced to choose between paying for medicine and paying for groceries. That's not a dream, that's survival. And I began to ask myself, who is the American dream really for? For too long, the dream has been sold as an individual chase, the story of one person pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. But I have learned that the true power of the American dream lies not in what one person achieves alone, but in what we build together. The real question isn't how far can I go? It's how far can we all go together? When I first entered politics, many people told me I was naive. They said someone with my name, my face, my faith could never win. They told me, be realistic, Zohran. People like you don't belong in those offices. But realism has never built revolutions. The only thing that ever changed history is courage. The courage to believe that we belong even when the system tells us we don't. So I ran for office not because I wanted power, but because I was tired of waiting for permission to exist. I ran because I wanted to make my community visible in a country that too often looks away. When I knocked on doors, I met people who felt forgotten by every institution meant to protect them: the worker paid less than minimum wage, the tenant living in a moldy apartment, the undocumented family afraid to go to the hospital. They didn't want speeches, they wanted someone who would stand beside them. And so, when I became mayor, I made a promise that we would govern from the ground up, not the top down. We built programs that gave people not just hope, but power. We invested in affordable housing so that no one had to choose between paying rent and feeding their children. We raised wages for public workers who had been invisible for decades. We turned empty buildings into community centers. We expanded mental health services, opened small business grants for immigrants, and made sure every policy had a face and a name behind it. But leadership isn't about what you achieve in headlines, it's about who you serve in silence. Every morning, I remember the faces of my parents and the sacrifices that brought me here. I remember that my success means nothing if it doesn't open the door for someone else. That is what I want the next generation to understand. That power is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. To every immigrant listening today, whether you drive a cab, clean houses, run a food cart, or study late into the night, I want you to know something: you belong here. You are not guests in this country, you are the authors of its future. Every accent you carry, every culture you celebrate, every barrier you've overcome, they are not weaknesses. They are your strength. The American dream doesn't live in boardrooms or political slogans. It lives in the determination of people who refuse to give up, in the mother who works 3 jobs to send her daughter to college, in the student who organizes for climate justice, in the worker who demands fair pay, and in every voice that refuses to stay silent. But let's be honest, dreaming is not enough anymore. Dreams don't change laws. Dreams don't end poverty. Dreams must become movements. We need movements that demand justice not just for some, but for all regardless of race, class, or immigration status. That's the America I believe in. Not the America that tells you to fit in, but the one that asks you to stand out. Not the America that asks you to stay quiet, but the one that needs your voice. The America I believe in is built every day by ordinary people doing extraordinary things, by believing that empathy is stronger than fear, and unity more powerful than greed. So, as I stand here today, I want to say this: I didn't come here to be the exception. I came here to prove that there should be no exceptions. Every child, whether born in Queens, Kampala, Karachi, or anywhere in between, deserves the same chance to live with dignity and purpose. From immigrant to mayor, my story is not a miracle. It's a mirror. A mirror that reflects what's possible when a country opens its doors, when its people lift each other up, and when we stop measuring success by how much we own and start measuring it by how much we give. The American dream isn't dead. It's waiting for us to redefine it, rebuild it, and reclaim it together. Thank you.